End of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Man, I'm super excited today. I have Jerry Newberry and Jeff Kelly from Pros Elite Pivot Software. You know, folks, I think it was about a month ago, I started looking for another software provider that could help the industry manage its data, manage its cost. And the one that I really liked, well, it got bought up by this private equity group, and I think they're trying to turn it into some DCA tool. So I was on the hunt. And I asked in that episode if anybody ever heard of Pivot, or could you give me some, commentary on the software itself. Folks, that episode went crazy. I mean, I had like 65 comments. I had people sending me emails, and I got to tell you both, they love your software, they love your service, and since that episode, I had some in-depth demos from you all, so I'm thinking this is some pretty good stuff. But I wanted to bring you on and just share that story with you because, you guys, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because the marketplace really does like you. But Gerald, let me start out with you. Tell us a little bit about Pros Elite, a little bit about your history and what your real goals are with our dealer friends.
Sure. Well, we've been in business now, it's hard to believe, 16 years. Prior to Pros Elite Group, I was, as you know, with Global Imaging System as a VP of Service. And we started off as a consulting group, primarily doing very much what I was doing at Global, going in, assessing the service side of the business, and then developing action plans and working with them to bring their performance to benchmark. And about 7 years into the company, Jeff and I had brought him on to help me because the consulting was growing quickly. We decided to venture into the business analytics software, and Pivot came to light. Well, during the initial development, we really developed it for our current client base. And at that time, we had about 80 companies that we were consulting with. And, we found a couple of things in the industry that needed Pivot. Number one, there was no software developed around the industry model that 80% of the companies use, financially, operationally, to look at the whole business, admin, sales, and service. And secondly, there was so much data available. So you had the ERP that was giving you data, you had the BEI giving you data, you had other third-party link-ins that were giving you data, and all of them were showing your performance differently. And you would show that you were doing well, as an example, from the service operational standpoint, but there was a disconnect with the financials. So the Pivot, because it's designed around the model, there's that financial connection. If your operational performance is off, we can point right to what needs to occur to impact the financials. So we launched, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, I think it was 2019.
So right before the pandemic.
To the industry, we had Pivot within our dealer group about 5 years prior to that. So it's been around for about eight and a half, 9 years now.
Right. And when we launched it, Ray, it really took off because there wasn't a product like it. It's built around the model. We've got live dashboards. But more importantly, from my perspective, I think the advanced analytics that we built into the tool eliminates managers, presidents, sales VPs to have to dig through data. It does all the analytics for you, and it puts it right in front of your face so you can react to it.
Well, let me ask you, Jeff, this question. You're probably in that software space, but when the dealer is looking at this data, can they customize what they get exposed to? I mean, do you have the ability, if I'm a dealer owner and I want to know certain aspects of the business, that I can that'll give me some information that maybe forces me to make something happen right there on the spot?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ray, we actually had a lot of people contact us after your recent end of day with Ray talking about this subject. So we got a lot of folks that are interested in the product, and It is very customizable. Our statement that we make to dealers is pivot becomes you, you don't become pivot. So they can customize their dashboard as an example. We have alerting. You'd like to think that people are going to log in every day and look at what's going on. Well, life happens and things occur, and you have to get out in the field and take care of situations. So we have a notification, a surgical notification area that allows end users down to the user level to determine what's important to them. So maybe I want to get notified because my team's parts expense is way out of line. So I want to keep my pulse on that. Well, I can get alerts sent to me around that for my team so I can manage that aspect of my business. I might have a different area as another manager that I want to pay attention to. So you can customize how Pivot reaches out and engages with you based on what you're focused on within your team or within your organization. So it's very customizable all the way down to the employee level. We have the industry first tech portal, which allows technicians in the field to not only see where they should be within their territories from a performance standpoint, but how they're actually doing in actual performance to that planned expectation. And it allows the technician not to wait for the sit down with their manager, but to take ownership of their performance real time. So a lot of techs really love that because it gives transparency to them on how they're doing.
Well, when I was doing my demo with you all, it not only does it help manage, I call it behavioral management software, but not only does it help manage the behaviors of the service department, it also helps manage behaviors in the sales department. You guys have a pretty elaborate software that helps drive revenue based on myths in the field now and upgradability and all that kind of stuff. And when the dealer owner, I want to go back to the dealer owner and piggyback off something Jerry said that, because it ties into the financial system. If I'm a dealer owner, can I get this information on some kind of a dashboard every day, or do I got to wait for the end of the month, or when do I get my information that I want you to give me?
Yeah, we have that a variety of ways as well. So dealer principals, we have a president's report that looks at the scope of their entire organization to key metrics that gives them a pulse of what's going on: sales, service, overall dealer operations, financial performance, and the areas of opportunity are analyzed and identified for them. They can see that when they log in to Pivot and look at that customized area for them, and or they can receive alerts, presidential alerts through our Pivot platform at a frequency they're comfortable with. Maybe some want to get it daily, others want to get it on a weekly basis, others just like to look at it month to month, so we kind of adapt that to what the president wants to see.
Let me ask you a question. With all the data, real quick, with all the data that's available and everybody's talking about AI and all this stuff, are the presidents asking for that more frequently than not?
I would say in today's environment, definitely they're looking at things more rapidly than they used to. A lot of them had some negative impacts during the pandemic. A lot of them have diversified because of that into vertical revenue streams, which we also bring into Pivot and model for them. So not only are we looking at your copier business, if you're doing other lines, we can bring that in as well. Maybe you've decided to go into managed network services. Maybe you've decided to go into other verticals that are complementary to what you do. We can analyze that as well. And because of that diversity and some of the scares that happened over the pandemic, frequency of data has been something that presidents in particular have asked for more on a daily, real-time basis. We update Pivot on an hourly basis, so it's real time to what's happening in your organization.
That's pretty cool. Jerry, you look like you want to say something over there. I see you jumping around.
He actually made the comment I was going to make.
Guys, I got to be honest with you. I never thought I would get the response I got when I mentioned your software. So, again, congratulations on the job you're doing. I look forward to getting more involved.
We had so many clients watching you.
Well, at the end of the day, a lot of people pretend they don't watch me, but they still do.
Right.
It's at the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is the same thing you guys are trying to do. We're trying to help our dealers, especially now during this time. They need to be transitioning. There's a lot of things they need to be paying attention to. And I totally believe with all of my heart that we need to capture as much of our profit from our core deliverable of print as we watch it decline. But we got to grab as much of that profit as we can so we can use that to help us with other things. Is there anything you guys want to add before we end? And I'll look forward to having you back on again, and maybe we get into some details. But is there anything you want to add?
I'd like to add one thing. If there are any dealers out there writing off obsolescence today,
Mm-hmm.
they need to be on Pivot, because we have got a process and a module to eliminate obsolescence. I mean, we have dealers that tell us that we wrote off $100,000 last year, $250,000 last year. And we have the magic pill in Pivot to be able to monitor that real time. And when you start seeing diminishing usage on parts, we alert that parts guy through a dashboard to make the adjustments to the mins and maxes, so you're not continuously ordering things that are going to go obsolete on you.
Which is important, because that's a crap load of money that doesn't do anybody any good at all.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
Kills the bottom line.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I think monitoring relevant data is what we're really trying to provide to the dealer. We're independent. We're here to support the dealer community. And I'd like to say that, man, we just had all these great ideas that we built into a platform, but we listened to the dealer community. Mm-hmm. We got feedback from them, and we have adapted our platform to accommodate the needs of the dealer, especially as things are ever changing in today's world. And we're committed to continuing to do that.
You guys do have meetings for dealers too. Can you share? Don't you have one coming up for service people or something?
Absolutely. In what, November, Jerry?
Yes.
Okay.
We have a combined president's service managers meeting.
Okay, so that's another interesting thing, because you actually do bring your customers together to try to get the input that you just described to help you. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on. I look forward to having you on again, because we all know this: status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.